though, my afro. I do have a subject matter I want to talk about. So yeah, a couple things I want to say. All right, so 2 days ago, 2 days ago, I had last night I had the strangest dream. Took a little sailboat to China. All right, so what happened was, what happened was, I dreamed that this woman, she's a black woman, she's around 40 something, uh, looking like somebody's auntie. She was telling me to get this, whatever this is, out of my hair. I don't even know what it is. I just got home, you guys. Just did some deliveries. But she was like, she's like, listen, I'm going to tell you how to travel through time. I was like, so she said, if you take a cylinder, right, and it's like a tube, and you put a ball in it, and then you take the cylinder, and it's like, you know, it's circular, so the ball can travel inside of the tube, kind of like a spitball in a straw, but the straw is end to end, and it's about the circumference of a bedroom. Then you take another ball, and you're standing. And you take another ball and the same thing, but make it smaller to where you're standing in between them. So here's one circle, you're standing in there, and then another circle's in front of you. So she was saying the friction between both the balls spinning in the cylinder causes a portal to open. And she was showing me how the ball was moving, and it was just moving real fast. And then the second ball started moving real fast, and they created some kind of, I don't know, some kind of atmospheric pressure. And sure enough, uh, uh, all these universes started opening up, and they didn't open up like going up or out like this, they went down. So while she was telling me about it, next thing you know, the floor just kind of gave way, and but I was still standing there, and I was looking at all these different worlds just, kind of opening up. And the more you look down, the more opened up. And she said there are millions and millions and millions of different worlds or different universes. So it's one world but different universes is what she was saying. Like there's only one planet, but there's millions and millions and millions of different universes. And then we started popping up in these universes. And it wasn't like you fall and hit the ground and then, you're half dead. No, you just show up, boom. And then there was people that I knew, like that were familiar to me, but there was something different about them. They were dressed different. They looked different, but they were the same people. In every universe we went to, we saw the same people, but they were dressed different, or some of them were rich, some of them were poor, some of them lost some of them may have been sick, some of them were super healthy. It was just different versions of these people in different universes. And she said there are millions and millions and millions of universes. You can just keep going. And I don't know why I had the dream, but I woke up and I could still hear her talking. And I was like, this is amazing. While I was awake, I was like, this is amazing. And then when I went back to sleep, the dream kept going. And I knew that I was sleeping. I know I'm sleeping right now. But sure enough, there she was, and she was telling me more about the universe. And I was like, this is beautiful. It just and it's so vast and wide open. And she said, if you want to get to these universes, you don't even have to have the apparatus that you use with the ball spinning around and then another ball inside of another apparatus spinning around. She said you can actually do the same thing with a cell phone. And she showed me a cell phone, and there was a circle, the same kind of circle. It was this white circle in the cell phone, and then all you had to do was hit it once, and just like you were going to make a phone call, the same thing. You would hit it once, and it would take you into these universes. So I don't know what that all means, but I share these weird dreams with you guys, so you guys can think about that, or if somebody else has had that dream before, um, maybe one of us can figure it out, because I know I'm not like so special that I'm the only one having these dreams. Hi, did you know how to fix freezers? It is getting less cold. Sorry to bother you. I'd appreciate any help or suggestions. Hold on, let me read this, guys. Oh, it's one that I sold. It's okay to plug it in there. Oh, it's one that I sold. Well, they're past their warranty. Not to mention they didn't pay the full price. So yeah, I'm not gonna do anything. That's what you get for trying to Jew me down to a lesser price. I give you that price for a reason, and the warranty. So if I have to come over and fix it, I have the finances to do it. But when you're like, no, I'm only going to pay this much, I'm like, hey, okay, fine, I'll sell it to you. But I don't tell them that they voids the warranty. I just go, boom, there you go. And that's it. You know what I mean? It's a warranty for a reason, people. You know what I mean? So, but anyways, people really, when it comes to appliances, I argued with a lady for the last 2 days that her refrigerator was okay, and she fussed me out. And so I was like, you know what, lady? I have your old one. It works just fine. I'll bring it back to you. And I put it on my truck and was getting ready to bring it back to her, and was like, hey, I'm ready to bring it back to you. She was like, you know what? My daughter said it works right now. She doesn't know a thing about refrigerators. She thought whenever the fan went off that the refrigerator was broke. I'm like, oh, wait, what? I'm like, is there ice in the, is it cold in the refrigerator and the freezer part? She was like, yeah, you can see where the water froze. And I was like, what? She's like, but the refrigerator is warm. I'm like, that refrigerator is supposed to be 41 degrees, in between 39 and 41, around there. As long as it doesn't go up past 45, you're fine. And I was telling her the freezer is, should be 32 and below. If there's ice in there, then it's below 32. People just don't know, and they think they know, but it's like they really don't. So yeah, so I just wanted to talk about that, to talk about the lady that showed me the visions of all kind of universes. And I think there's some significance in there, because she started talking about the cell phone. Now, one thing that interests me is there is a guy who is on TikTok, and this dude said he can open a portal to another universe with his phone. And he did it, like right on a TikTok. He had one phone recording the other one. He was like, watch this. He said, look out the window. That's my car. And he was showing you on his phone. And then he says, now look out this window. Now let's go to the next window. He went to the next window. He was like, no car. Then he was like, car, no car. It's the same parking lot. And I was like, now that's interesting. Um, and then he took his cell phone and he pointed it at the wall, and this area opened up in his wall. It was wild. It was like, oh, this is some straight out of a movie type of something, but it was a bedroom wall there, and it just opened up into a whole nother like world where he could just step through it. And I was like, I believe it. I believe it. I don't believe I just had this dream for nothing. And I believe these things right here are doing a lot more than what we think. They're letting a lot more. They're letting creatures into our life that we don't know about. This is why you should pray. Um, and watch what you look at on these computers and music you listen to. Because I think these phones are opening portals to different places. As a matter of fact, I know they are. And they're letting in these powerful beings uh, that can easily disrupt our life. They're letting them in our life, and we don't know that it's happening. We just think that we're making a phone call, or we think that we're just watching, TikTok or something. But these beings are coming into your house and moving around your house, and you don't even know it. And then sometimes you do know it because now we're looking on TikTok and YouTube and Facebook, and you got people who are capturing these beings. One guy is, I mean, it's so evident that this thing is has a profound interest in him because it bangs on his window, bangs on his window. He'll get up and he'll go to his living room, and it'll be sitting right there in his little living room. And it'll when it sees him, it'll get up and walk away. It'll take different forms of a woman or a child. And one time it took its true form, and because he's usually not scared of it, and he talks to it, he's like, not today. Then his dog sees it, and his dog is like, you know. And then one time it was downstairs in the basement, and it kept opening the basement door to get into the kitchen. And he was like, okay, cut it out. I'm not with it today. So he'd close the basement door. Then you would see the shadow, and it would open the door, and lights would be flickering. And he would close the door. And then finally, he closed the door one more time. That thing came open, and then it came up out of the stairs, and like it was coming into the kitchen. And it was a sizable creature. And he ran. Him and the dog did. They just ran. They were just like, we're out of here. And he left the cell phone where you could see it coming. This thing was interesting. So I think our cell phones are letting these creatures in, and I think that lady was warning me uh, about. Okay, updated my address. Was warning me about these beings, and now I'm warning you that whatever you're watching is watching you. That's what I'm saying. But I'm also saying that whenever you use a cell phone, you are traveling. Your spirit is traveling. Whenever you go to sleep, you travel while you sleep. So, I'm sorry. I had one of them days. Made some money, but I had one of them days. But yes, your spirit's traveling, and so be careful of what you watch, anyways. But really be careful what you watch and who you talk to on these cell phones, because you can say something to somebody, and you don't know that you're talking to the spirits that are around that person, and they will invite themselves into your life. It's kind of like when you're listening to music, and you can hear when somebody's like, "Oh, this is my jam," you know, and you're like, "What song is that?" And then they play it, and you're like, "Yeah, that is nice," but there's a spirit that knows each other when that happens. Even the Bible talks about it, how the spirits recognize each other. So your spirit recognizes that music as well as that person. Their spirit recognizes that music. What, regardless of what kind of music it is, it's still your spirit identifies with that music. And where the trap comes in is that spirit, you know, from heaven or from hell. And that's where you got to be like, ooh, well, I don't know. Well, that's a problem if you don't know. If you don't know, it's probably not coming from God. And there's only one other place it's coming from. There's no purgatory. There's no in between. There's God or not God. That's it. According to the scriptures, is what the scriptures read. If it's not for me, it's against me. That's it. That's what he says. Not for me, it's against me. It's cut and dry. Um, so yeah, so be careful, and I don't care how innocent the song sounds. Like I was listening to some music today, and the Holy Spirit was like, that's not really, it's not my music. I was like, but it's, and I had to talk to God about it, and I had to turn it off. And I'm struggling with that because I really like a certain type of music, like what I'm listening to now. Like I made this, but um, I like to listen to neo soul beats, and I really like the harmonies and stuff that they sing, and sometimes they ain't singing about something worth listening to, and then it catches me like I'm not supposed to be listening to that. You know what I mean? Because I don't do those things. I don't. If you hear a lot of songs, they're always talking about what they're going to do at the nighttime because they're children of the night. I am a child of the day. I don't do those things. Now, did I? Yes. And the scripture says, come out from among them. He's saying if you're walking with Christ, now you're a child of the light. You're not a child of darkness. And you listen to radio, and they're always talking about what they're gonna do at night. Tonight, tonight. It's always tonight, 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 because they're children of the night. You're not. You're a child of the day if you're, walking in Christ. And listen, ain't nobody around here, saying that I don't be liking to do stuff but that's the struggle. You know what I mean? You want to do stuff. You want to, go out and hang with the folks, and hey, you can't do it. You're not one of them anymore. You know what I'm saying? You can't do it. So you got to be careful. But yeah, so that portal opened up, and I just found that it was very, very interesting, and it was so amazing how we just dropped into different worlds. And when the people saw me, it was like I was already in these worlds. So it okay, sorry. So there are different versions of you in all of these worlds. So there's the you that's the rich, you that's the poor, you that's the post office guy, you that's the you know, I don't know, the recreation supervisor, you I don't know what you do. You're the school teacher, you're the Vietnam vet, you're the guy and you know, you're living in 1940s, you're living in, it's you the caveman. It's you know what I mean? So there are different versions of you in all these worlds, and the only thing about it, the only thing that's different is you don't know you in all these worlds. You're not conscious of you until you go to one of these worlds. And then you're like, I know this isn't originally where I'm from. I know I'm not from here. And that's what happened to me 2 nights ago. But I had a guide who was talking to me the whole time. This black woman was talking to me the whole time, and she was traveling with me. She was like, "Come on, let me show you something." And boom, we showed up. I was at a cafe talking to some people, and I knew that my conscience wasn't from that world. But they were all, "Hey, Tone, blah blah blah, blah blah blah." They were totally dressed different than the people I just seen. And then we went to another world. Boom! I saw the same people, but they were doing something else. And then, I walked outside of the cafe. Boom, I was in another world where the guy wasn't walking across the street. He was standing there. The guy didn't have on a tuxedo. He had on I don't know, just, a pair of, the jogging suit or whatever. But I knew I was jumping worlds, and I wasn't afraid to jump these worlds. And these weren't places that were dangerous either. They were just different places. And I was going from one world to another in the blink of an eye. And I think what that guide was telling me is that you can actually do this on your own. And I think that's what she was saying. The frequency of these devices enable your consciousness to go from one place to another immediately. And but the only thing about it is, you're there. If you wanted to go to a different world right now, you would just turn on your phone, and you would hit something, and then boom, you would be there. Your body would be here, but your conscience would be in you somewhere else, and it would always be you. But you will always be tethered to this world. And I think you're always tethered to this world because this world is your first consciousness. So as long as your body is alive, salute, brother. As long as your body is alive, you will always come back to this world. That's what I was kind of getting out of it. I don't know. It sounds confusing to me too. They say this is the Matrix. Well, the Matrix was written, for one, let me say this. The Matrix was written by a black woman. Wasn't written by the Coen brothers. The Terminator, the Matrix, and a couple other, hard hitting shows. She finally got her, money, sued all these people, but it was written by a black woman. And showed this in the Matrix. Yeah, the same thing. Yeah, same thing, bro. But it was like when Neo. Oh, okay, so no, they said what you just said and showed it in the movie The Matrix. Yeah, I agree. Now here's the thing. Just like in the Matrix. But the thing about the Matrix, though, the Matrix opened up to a world. Okay, their body was in a world that was against them. The whole world was violent against them because of these machines. Uh, Now, of course, there are plenty of places where you just don't want to be. But I was I was always here. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess if you're on a ship flying around, in whatever year that was, yeah, you would still be on that ship. Um, Also, they were plugged in. This is the plug-in. This is the plug-in. They had a guide. They had Morpheus as a guide. Um, I had that black woman as a guide. She was guiding me. Uh, yeah, man, they could walk around in their world, run, and all this other stuff. Have a mate. It was the same thing in that world, man. I'm trying to tell you, it was so alive. It was so trippy, bro, that I was just popping up in these different worlds without missing a beat either. That's another thing. The ease of slipping into another universe was it was almost too easy. And another thing is that I gleaned from this is, if you're in a good place, every place in the universe that you're opening up to seemed to be like you were still in a good place. Like when I was in the cafe, I was still in the cafe when I jumped into different worlds. I wasn't afraid to go to another world. Boom, I was in the cafe wearing, a 50s outfit. Boom, I was wearing, I don't know, you know, I was dressed like a cowboy or something. I don't know. And then boom, I would just, and every time I was happy to see these people, and they were happy to see me. And then in one world, I actually got up and I left. So it's like your life is just going on, but you're just popping into these different worlds. And every step you take is a different world. And I've had a dream like this before. So I think there's some validity to it. I don't know. Um, but I, I just find it extremely interesting. And I didn't watch anything to make me go, yeah, I'm going to dream about this tonight. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't watch something real weird. I didn't go I didn't watch Star Trek and was like, yeah, I'm gonna watch Star Trek and it's gonna be, you know what I'm saying, or whatever. No, man, it just boom, just happened. And because sometimes movies can still be with you, even though you fall asleep, you're still thinking about that movie. No, man, it just came out of nowhere, and it was beautiful. It was really really beautiful to experience that. Like I woke up, I didn't wake up afraid. I woke up happy. And I was like, wow, that was like I wasn't jumping up and down happy, but I was just not afraid. I'm so used to scary dreams and nightmares. But whenever these beings come and show me stuff and take me to places, the majority of the time, they're far out places. And I've been to a different world before. I've been to plenty of different worlds. I've been a lot. I've been on spaceships. I've been in the middle of space. I remember one dude. I told you guys this before. One guy came and got me from here, um, from Earth, and next thing you know, we were in a scout ship, and it was a spaceship, but it was a small, war class spaceship, and it was only room for like him and I, and then some room in the back. So it wasn't one of these big ass, Methuselah class warships. It was just, a fighter is what it was. It was a fighter ship, and we were coasting in the middle of the Milky Way, and um, I'm on this side, he's on that side, and he says, "You want me to show you where you're from?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "You see that star right there?" He was like, "Now look over there." He's like, "That's where you're from." So just for the fact that he said, "You see that star right there?" He was saying that we were from light years away from this place. And then what's amazing is we ended up there. He's like, "Boom, let's go." And boom, we flash. We was there. We landed on the planet, and he said, "I'm gonna take you to our superiors," and they were some tall, grayish looking, very tall humanoids, and they all recognized me. And there was a council of them. They all had these long robes, these cone shaped like hats on their heads. Their face was elongated, and when they saw me, they stood up and welcomed me, but they didn't welcome me like, "Hey, we're glad to see you." They were like, "Where have you been?" And I remember walking up to them, and plus we had on these outfits, right? And these outfits were like outfits of war. They were armored. So my chest is way out here because I'm in this armored outfit, looking like, you know, Warhammer or something like that. So I walk up to them, and they greet me. I greet them. They're pretty much like upset because they haven't seen me in a while. And the reason why they're upset is because I am a commander. And they were like, "Yo, we're at war. Where have you been?" And me, I'm like, I'm like, what? Kind of like, what's really going on? Like, what's really going on? I couldn't figure it out. But they showed me, and it was a war of planets. So when we got onto a spaceship, because as soon as I got there, they was like, "You need to go and get into it." As soon as I got into space, I was on a larger spaceship, and there were all kind of spaceships flying and everything. But the thing about this was, when I say War of Planets, I mean that literally. There were planets that were colliding with each other, and at one point there were two suns that collided. And I was like, "Oh, you guys wasn't kidding. The whole this whole universe is at war with each other. Like the planets, the people. It was just one colossal war." And I didn't even know who the enemy was, but there were people firing at my ship and or our ship because I was on this huge ship, and I was supposed to be telling people what to do, and all the stuff. It was very, very, very graphic, and I remember us. We narrowly escaped a sun, two suns crashing into each other. We had to punch it and get up out of there because these two suns were coming and boom, they crashed into each other. And then let me see. Oh my God, I remember the spaceships and everything. I remember riding on all these spaceships. Okay, then that dream ended, and then like a week or so, again, I was right back out in this war. But what happened was our ship crashed, and I was the commander of the ship, right? And there was different beings on this ship. And when the ship crashed, it crashed on a planet that was nothing but water. It had no landmass to it that we could see. And it was constantly day. It was constantly day. All you could see is ocean. And the ocean wasn't like you know, a very turbulent, like the North Sea is the most violent body of water on the planet here. It was nothing like that. It was just calm all the time. It was blue above your head all the time, and it was in the atmosphere was peaceful all the time. But you couldn't live there because it was 100% water, right? And it was deep water too. It wasn't no shallow. It was very deep water, right? So our ship was sinking, like the big ship I was on. So what happened is I got onto a smaller ship and I did some old Jedi stuff, and the ship came out of the water. This whole huge ship just boom, and I went, and the ship came out the water. I was like, okay, this is Star Wars. I'm like, well, but I'm not dressed like a Star Wars person. I'm dressed like I said, I have on the same huge outfit that I know is made of metal and stuff like that, and but I don't have no helmet. Um, so nonetheless, after the ship got its act together, I boarded the ship, went back in, and one of the beings ran up to me and said, "Commander, Commander, we found out who sabotaged our ship." And it was a changeling. And I was like, this is Star Wars, but it wasn't. And this creature was a woman, and it changed from what it looked like to what it really was. And then the creature started begging for mercy. So the person that was saying "Commander, Commander" was my second in command or something like that. And he was like, "Kill it." He's like, "Kill it now." And I was like, "No, I'm not going to kill it. Go put it in the brig or lock it away, but I'm not going to kill it because I want to know why. What happened? How did it get here? We kill it, we don't get no answers." So that didn't happen. And then we were okay and we got off the planet. And I went back to that dream again. Whatever these creatures are that are pulling me into this universe, they give you bits and pieces of these dreams, right? But they're letting you know that you're not alone. Like we're always waiting for you to come here, and this is where you're really from. And it's a very tumultuous universe, wherever that is. I don't know where it's at, but I bet a dime to a dollar if you could probably see that star in our atmosphere somewhere because it pointed it right out like that's where you're from right there. I don't know what star it was. I couldn't tell you the clusters. I couldn't. But it pointed, this dude pointed right out a star, and he looked like me. And he was a regular human dude. He just looked, he said, I'm gonna tell you where you're from. You see that star? That's where you're from. I can still remember us sitting in the calm of space in the middle of nowhere. There was no planets around, and we're just sitting there like we're okay. We didn't push the panic button or nothing. The next thing you know, we're on another planet. It was fascinating. Also, recently, because I've had those dreams a while ago, but a week ago, about a week or so ago, I went back. I went right back to that universe, and I was once again a commander, and we were on a warship, and there was a ship following us, and the ship that was following us was trying to shoot us down, right? And we were again on a world that was mostly water, but it was different. And there was a great war that was on this planet, and what it did was it caused most of the land to sink. But you could still see some land. You could see buildings and all that, but most of it was covered up with a great ocean. And the ocean, you could see, because we were skimming over the ocean, we were trying to stay low and stay out of radar. And so while we were staying low, we would look down, and you would see these huge skeleton bones of these creatures that used to live there, but they were all wiped out by the ocean. And when I say huge, I mean they were bigger than our ship. So this was something like 10 times bigger than a whale, like our biggest whales. Like these creatures were huge, and you're seeing bones on top of bones, and you can see their heads and where the neck was and their arms and everything. So there was these colossal creatures, and they all got wiped out in the water. If you would have jumped down into the water, you would have sank like it would have been so deep, and you would still see these creatures. That's how big they were. They were just like they were really, 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 really huge. And you just saw all their bones, and you're just like, I know this is the middle of the ocean. How am I able to see all these bones? And the more we cruised over the water, the more bones we saw. So that I found interesting. And the ship that was trying to shoot us down, they did spot us, but we got out of there. And then I had another dream while I was on one of these ships, and somebody attacked us from within one of these ships. And I don't remember that too vividly, but I remember I remember being on the ship. I remember there were two other beings on the ship, and they were like, I was telling them, "Let's go, let's get out of here." And somebody had sabotaged our ship, and then they came and tried to like fight with us. So it was interesting, very, very interesting. I'm just trying to piece it all together while I'm talking to you. I'm trying to remember all this because it doesn't happen all at once. It happens like sometimes years apart. But once you start thinking about it, you're like, this is the same being, which means this is the same universe, which means whoever is telling me these stories, they're still around. They're around somewhere, and they want my attention. And I repeat these dreams because I think other people are having them. And yeah, I think other people are having these dreams, especially when it comes to the water. I actually heard a guy talk about a dream he had where he was in the ocean, and he met some people that dragged him down to the bottom of the ocean, and they were showing him that there's another universe at the bottom of the ocean. And he was like, does anybody else have those dreams? And I'm like, yeah, I do, you know. So yeah, there's that. So it's some wild stuff, man. Just I know I sound like a complete nutcase, but one of these days I'm hoping I can put it all together and be like, okay, this is what this is, this is what that is. And one of these days I'm hoping one of these beings like put it all together because I can still see those leaders that we went to. I can still see them. I can see the one guy who was upset when he saw me. He was disappointed. He was like, let's, we got work to do. I can still see those planets colliding and the sound, and and they're millions of miles away, and we're watching them crash into each other as if they're right next to us. That's how big they were. And and at one point we almost got sucked into one of them, and these suns were like moving super fast, and then boom, and then slow down, and then boom, and there's ships, and there's just noise and all kind of it's complete chaos, and these planets that are moving and crashing into each other, man. It's just wild, bro. So, ooh, spooky stuff, man. How was your day, Hardaway? I think you're the only person here. I think you're the only person here. I don't know who's here. Somebody's here. The freezer. It is getting less cold. It's getting less cold. You might need Freon. What up? How you be, Sleepy? You all right? Everything copacetic? Everything cool? Yeah, that's one of my jams. Everybody cool? Everybody copacetic? Everybody good? Everybody good? He been very good lately. Kinda just saving for a van. Okay, saving for a van and children. Saving for children. Is that what I'm reading? I've been I've been lately kinda just saving for a van and chilling. Okay, and children. What? Yeah, man, save that money. So I got two trucks, right? My one truck decided. My one truck decided. Okay, that decided. My one truck decided I've had enough, and I'm not mad at it because that truck has been a workhorse for me. A great workhorse. Why does it sound like this? What is this? But it was like, nah, bro, you gotta fix me. So I gotta go and take the trailer off my blue one and put it on my tan truck, and I gotta do deliveries with that, and that's cool. But I gotta get old girl fixed, man. I gotta. This is weird right here, though. I gotta get old girl fixed, man. I can't be playing around. Can't play around with that. Gotta have two vehicles. Gotta have two vehicles. Shoot, as a matter of fact, I wish I had. I used to have a van. I used to have a little caravan, little joint. Used to have one, bro. Trying to tell you, I missed that van. I was so mad when it got totaled. Some idiot. Man, it got completely smashed. Shoot, man, I put a hitch on that van so quick. I likes my trucks though because when the winter hits, that snow hits, those vans are good, but when that snow hits, bro, and it gets bad out there, you see every two wheeler on the side of the road. Yeah, you see two wheelers on the side of or front wheel drive only. The cars that you don't see on the side of the road are four wheel drives. Well, you see some of them um, because people think, oh, I can just go over anything till they get a rude awakening. Yeah, man, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind getting me a '98. I had one before. I had a beautiful '98 Chevy Tahoe, and I ruined it. It was clean on the inside, clean on the outside, bro. And I ruined that thing, man. I blew that transmission out. I dusted that damn transmission running around in the winter, showing off. I blew the transfer case. That's the second time I had done that, man. I'll never do it again. But I want one, but they're usually around 2,000, in between 2 to 6,000. Let me see how much they're going for now. I bought mine from a dealer in Denver, Colorado. Understand? Uh, yeah, '98 Chevy Tahoe. Oh, this computer's having problems. So, yeah, '07. It's a nice '07. Nah, that's not right. You don't want 1,500 for that. That's not right. Scammer alert! Scammer alert! It's a '97 for 900. see. Dang. There's a 97 for 900. So yeah, I'm gonna eventually get me another Chevy Tahoe. I mean, I'm too I can't afford the one I really want, which is like '09 all the way up to 15. But you're talking, I mean, a 2018 is 30,000. I'm not doing that. But I need another truck. I need to have another one. I need to have another good standby. So if I can get me another Tahoe, I'll be straight. Yeah, I'll be straight. That's what I'm hoping to do. Get another one. It costs about in between 3 to 5. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna pay $30,000 for a vehicle anytime soon, not unless I hit the lottery. Okay, tell a little bit. That one's called "Meet Me in There." Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, man. Get yourself a good. Get a good truck if you can. Get a good truck. That Avalanche be coming in handy, man. Throw a fridge right in the back of it. I did that today. This lady called me like I was getting my head out. So I had to put a fridge in it. And I was getting my head out and she left me a message like, hey, if you still, move stuff from one place to another, let me know. Talked to her. She was like, yeah, I got a job for you. I need you to move a fridge from my old house to my new house. And I was like, bet. Now, she had bought a fridge from me, but it finally went out on her. And so she was replacing it with one that she already had. And I was like, yeah, let's go. Pay me $80. I do it. It wasn't too far. It wasn't hard work. I was like, cool. That's an easy $80. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? Let's go. I'm with that all the way. Get some voices in there. Yeah, some laid back. That sounds like some grown music right there. That sounds like some Teddy Pendergrass needs to come out of retirement. Somebody need to come out of retirement and sing on that. Yeah, man. So yeah, easy $80. You know what I'm saying? I love an $80 day. Love it. Love an $80 day. Love it. No, I took it to the junkyard too, so I made $95. Yeah, I took it to the junkyard, so I made about $15 off of it at the junkyard. I was gonna fix it, but I said, nah, it's too old. It's the old ones are hard to resell. So I was like, I'm gonna ditch it. I was like, let's go, junkyard. No problem. Yeah, a good old junkyard, man. I love that junkyard money. I got a bunch of stuff I need to take there tomorrow. I really don't want to get rid of them, but I don't have no way of testing my dryers. I seen an adapter that might be able to help me out though. Yeah. So what you guys gonna do for the New Year's? Like, what's up? Like, what's up with it? Like, what's your? I don't really have a resolution, but like, what are you gonna change? Like, you trying to lose weight? Like, y'all trying to do? Get married, get divorced, have a kid, buy a new car. What you shooting for? What you gotta be shooting for something. Ooh. 200 pounds of muscle. All right, well, how far are you? How much do you weigh? How tall are you? Hardaway, hey man, Hardaway's probably working out right now. That's the dude to talk to. I worked out today, but it was just to get rid of my back pain. I need to do a lot more back muscle workouts. But that dude Hardaway is serious about some weights. Strong dude, man. Talk to him. 200 solid? Shoot. Man, I am 6'2". I'm around 258 right now. Yeah, 250. Ew, look at you. That's nice. That's nice. A home gym is nice. I thought about that little extra room I got out there. I thought about putting a bench and stuff in there, but I said, nah, man, that's where my refrigerators are, man. When I need to work, on my refrigerators, man, I just bring them in there. It's a closed-in area. I can heat it up by just opening the door from here. The heat gets in there. Got my little blanket. Drop my toolbox down. Bam! Yeah. I drop that toolbox down, man. Get in it. Yeah, bro. I be in there. That's my little hideout. Pull-ups. Yeah. What? All these glasses suck. Bar, plates, pull-ups, bar, and bench. All. Yeah. Today I did some benching. I went up to 315, but it was on the it was at Planet Fitness, so it was at the Smith machine. So it wasn't really 315, probably like 280. No. Somewhere like 295, almost 300. Did some shoulder stuff. Had to work that shoulder in. Did some back stuff. Then I did some more back stuff. Trying to get those muscles, man, because they was hurting, from loading those refrigerators today. So I went, trying to get that soreness out of them, stretch them out, get that blood running in them. Yeah. Good little workout. Hopefully I'll have a delivery tomorrow. Hopefully. Hopefully I'll have a delivery tomorrow. Hopefully, I gotta go buy some more fridges. The more you have, the more people buy. See if I can get. Once some taxes comes in, boy, woo, you better be ready when them taxes come in. People gonna be buying up all kind of stuff. You know what I found out? That people buy a lot at the end of the month. I don't know why that is. Like I sold like 5 or 6 items at the end of the month. They'll wait, and then all of a sudden they'll be like, hey, I want this, hey, I want that. What's your bench press right now? Fix all the pain. And yeah, that's what you gotta do, man. You gotta work out to fix all them pains. And it works. Because there's blood, you gotta get the blood flowing in there. You can't use those muscles and not get any stretching going on. It hurts right where my spine is, so sometimes what I'll do is I'll line up against like the corner right there, and I'll rub my spine up against there. It's like, oh, that feels so good. Or try to crack my spine, try to do the whole reach it over. Oh my God, that hurts. Woo! I need a masseuse. I need a masseuse for real. I like that little song. It's called Seamless. Might write something to it. Might write. I don't know. Haven't been in a songwriting mood. Gotta really be in the mood to write. There's black one. I'm also say this: if you guys got anything that you want to sell, do it. I don't care what it is, as long as it's legal. Somebody's too loud though. Get a damn what? Yeah, I need a massage, bro. Need to. I need one of these little uh. I need to borrow somebody's nephew real quick. Some little squirt. Get over here and walk on my back. Pay him $5. Here. Ooh, man. Yeah, if you guys got anything to sell, if you got pictures or drawings and stuff that you do, man, sell that stuff. People are going crazy buying other people's stuff, and when you look at it, you're like, I can do that. You know what I mean? Do it. Do it. Sell your stuff, man. Sell your talent. You never know who's gonna buy it. You really don't. I'm mad that I threw a bunch of paintings of mine away. Just threw them away. I was like, okay, I need to move. Threw them away. You never know what people are gonna buy. You never know what people are gonna buy. You got a skill, show it off. Show it off. Yeah, if you got a skill, show it off. If you got any type of talent that's worth. I mean, there's a girl on TikTok and all she does is this. She's got millions of hits. I mean, she's a white female. That helps, but still, it's like, I mean, nobody wants to see me do like this and roll my eyes all kind of crooked. You know, they'd be like, But, she's a good looking woman, so, that's going to happen. But still, it's like, what are y'all getting out of that? Because there's absolutely nothing to that. Like she's not doing anything worth anything. And then you got the girl who's building a damn house and nobody cares. It's like that's the one I'm giving a like to. I like watching women do like building and putting stuff together. I enjoy the fact that they can. I enjoy the fact that they can do it. I don't necessarily like watching them do it because some of those TikToks look forced. It's like you're doing it just so we can watch you do it and then go, oh, a woman's doing it, but I don't really go, oh, a woman's doing it. I'm like, hey, good job, because most women don't do this, you know, but if you look in the comments, you're going to see a lot of people are going, I don't think she's really doing this. I think it's cap. Like there's one black woman, excuse me. She's taken apart cars and she's taken apart of engines. She's taken apart transmissions, and she's doing it in outfits that clearly, it's not something too outrageous, but it's like no mechanic is gonna. It's like no, your dude's a mechanic. You got boobs, so you're like, hey, you know, men like boobs and men like to fix stuff. So you do this and then clip, and then we're gonna clip that and then go back to whatever else it was that you were doing. And so guys are like, I really don't believe she's doing this. You know what I'm saying? And then they're saying why they don't believe she's doing it. And I'm like, I start off thinking, she's doing it. And then I start looking at the comments because I don't take apart transmissions. And I was like, you know what? I completely understand what he's got. I completely understand where you guys are coming from. You know, she's probably not doing that. Her dude is probably, what up, what up? Yeah, she's probably not doing it. I don't like that song. But her dude is like coaching her on. I'm gonna tell you, it's a smart ploy. I mean, if I had a girlfriend, lady friend, I'd probably put her on TikTok too. I remember seeing this mother. She has like a 5 year old or 6 year old little girl, cutest little thing, cutest little thing. But the mother kept trying to force the little girl to get into TikToks because the mother realized the algorithm liked the little girl. Whenever the little girl was in the TikTok, everybody's how cute is she and blah 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 blah. But whenever the woman was in the TikTok by herself, she realized nobody wanted to see her. So she would set up the phone to where she knew her little girl was gonna be in eye shot, and then she would tell the little girl to go to the phone and say something. And the little girl, she's 5 or 6, but she caught on and she was like, I don't want to. And the mother was like, go ahead. She started crying, like, I don't want to. So everybody flipped on the mom because they could clearly see the mom trying to make the little girl do a TikTok to make some extra cash. And it was just like, oh, that backfired real quick. It's like it should be organic anyway. The kid wants to be in a TikTok, you don't want your kid to be unhappy on social media because everybody's coming for you. I mean, it's just, don't play that game, lady. Then I think she's going to find out the hard way because enough people are going to say something and her TikToks will eventually get taken down. Nobody's playing when it comes to kids now. It's just like if we see one thing, it's like, you got to go. I mean, people are losing their jobs on TikTok. It's pretty bad. One woman made a one woman made a TikTok about nurses, and she worked in a fast food restaurant, and she was talking about something that had to do with nurses. Well, them female nurses, once they looked at that TikTok, it went viral. For one, a lot of these people don't expect their stuff to go viral. It's if a few people get a hold of it and start sharing it, and then the right people get a hold of it, and then they start talking about it, then it goes viral. A lot of people are just having a daily chat and saying, this is what I think about, Mountain Dew and its effect on, your bladder or whatever. And but she just happened to pick a really, 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 really hot topic, which is what 60, 70% women, and you know, women love to talk. So she just caught she don't say nothing about nurses. Not unless you're ready for the smoke. Don't say nothing about nurses. I mean something that where they feel that they're gonna come for you. Don't do it. Because that woman made one TikTok about nurses. Then the nurses all start seeing it and start sharing it. Doctors and one start sharing it. And then the comment section went crazy on her. And after that, she had to come back and say, listen, this is really what I was saying. And she had a legitimate point, but it doesn't matter because you're not a nurse. And this is the way the nurses looked at it. They're like, you work at a fast food restaurant. Then they found out which fast food restaurant she worked at. Then they called her boss and they got her fired. And she was on TikTok. She was like, well, you guys got me fired. Congratulations. I remember there was this black couple that was on TikTok, and they did a prank on their kids. They had 3 kids, all under the age of 8 or 9, and they decided they wanted to do. No, I think one of them might have been like 11 or something. The little girl was like 11. They decided they wanted to do a joke on them and say that their mother had died. Can you help me understand why you would do this? So the mother's hiding out in the damn garage, And the dad walks in and he's filming the kids and he's like, "You guys, your mom just died." Those kids' little brains, they were looking at him like, "What are you talking about?" And then they took him seriously and they started crying. He was filming them crying. And then a mother walks in, "Psych, it was a joke." Man, woo, the comment section lit them up. So the dude, he goes after he sees all this. He's like, "Man, y'all got too much time in your hand. Be worried about what I'm doing, blah 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 blah, and all this, that, and the third." They found out where that mother worked. Yes, they did. They found out where she worked. They called her boss and they said, "Look at this video." They fired her on the spot. You are fired. The next TikTok she made, they made together. They were apologizing. She was like, "Well, you guys, you did it. You got me fired, and we're sorry. We didn't like." They had no idea of the gravitas of making those kids cry. You cannot mess with your kids like that. For one, you shouldn't. But especially if you're going to do it on social media, for likes and for laughs, and you're going to make your kids cry and their kids are serious, don't do it. If you want to lose your job, fool around and find out. Leave the kids out of the video is what I say. That's what I say. Leave them out. Let them. There's a couple that I don't follow them, but I watch them. Husband and wife. They got kids. You only see the kids running in the background every now and then. Most of the TikToks are about her and him just having fun. You hardly ever see the kids. You can hear them, but you hardly ever see the kids. That's how you do it. Yeah, you remember that. They leveled those two real quick. And the thing about it was the dude had no remorse. And then they went and did another video where they pranked the kids. And they just didn't get how serious it was. But man, they leveled that woman. They took away her money so damn quick. Because you're thinking you guys aren't gonna, you're not gonna take it that serious. So yeah, they take it very serious. They take it very serious. And they did them in quick. And it was like, wow, we just lost our income. There was another lady who went on TikTok, white lady. She did the whole white lady tears thing. She was talking about her husband, and she was like, "My husband, he does this and he does that, and he blah, 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 blah." Well, her video went viral. See, a lot of people don't think they can go viral, and you want to go viral, but you're viral for the wrong thing. You're viral in trouble, is what you are. So this lady's talking about her husband, this, that, and the third. And, so she made it seem that the husband was a bad husband. Well, they found out who she was. Then they found out who the husband was. And then they start calling up to his job to get him fired. She had to turn around and make a video and apologizing and crying. She said, "You guys, please, I didn't mean it like that. My husband's a great husband." And she said, "We're also a single family income. Like he's the breadwinner. Like if he gets fired, me and my kids are out too. So cut the BS." But she was crying about it. It's like, be careful what you say on social media because they will come for you. They came for that lady. Please don't. Now you're begging to a bunch of strangers who you let in your house. You let them in your business. This is what you wanted. You wanted all the women to all feel sorry for you because you were, just going through Halifax hell. Nice chat, bro. Gotta go. Peace to you. You were going through Halifax hell over there. You don't know what Halifax hell is. Halifax, Canada? But, and you really weren't. There's that other lady who was on TikTok and she was in a house that her husband built. And him and his father was building the house for them. And there was some tools that they left out. And they left a note for her to clean it up. It was like, can you clean this up when you get home? And she was like, look at this. They want me to clean this up. And I just got done working 8 hours and giggity yak, yap, the yap, yibbity yak. Well, guess what? It got back to the husband real quick. The husband was like, okay, now that the whole world is in our business, he was like, I don't want nothing to do with you. So the next video you saw, she says, well, guys, my husband's divorcing me. And she was in a different house. It was like he kept the house, but he got rid of you. Now, how do you feel? You know what I mean? Keep your stuff off of social media when it comes to that. Don't put your spouse on social media and start blasting them because people are going to find out who they are, whether it's a woman or a man. They're going to find out who your spouse is. And when they do, you're not going to be happy about it. Don't do it. Leave them off of there. Leave your kids off of there. Leave your woman off of there. Shut the hell up because social media can't help you. Oh, thanks, man. I'm just saying, social media is not going to help. If you're going to use social media as help, use them to find someone that's in trouble. Social media will do that. They will locate somebody in a heartbeat. People think they can't get caught. I mean, I've seen plenty of social media do that. One guy stole this woman's shoes. She started talking about it. This guy stole my shoes. They were $1,000. They sure enough found that dude. And once he caught all that heat, he contacted old girl and gave the shoes back. He was like, nah, I didn't steal your shoes. And then they looked at his pictures on his profile. Well, they looked at his picture, saw the woman, and then looked at the woman's shoes, and there was the shoes. And it was his girlfriend. It was like, one, you're a cheater, two, you're a thief. So he had to meet up with her and boom, give the shoes back. Like that's what I'm talking about. Use social media for that if you're gonna, be putting people's names out there. Use it for that, but don't do it to like get people on, sympathetically to because people are mean. You have no idea who you're messing with. People, listen, there are people that are professional trolls. They just want to bring the worst out of you. That's what they do. And these are grown ass people sitting up there trolling people just to get a response. This is what they do. And they'll drive you nuts. They'll drive you nuts. And some of you people, I mean, we done lost some, we lost some people on social media recently. Yeah. We lost that one Star Wars guy. He was shoot. He was a Sith Lord, but not a Sith Lord. He was one of those Sith that go around looking for Jedi's to kill them. I forgot what they call him, but that was his tag name. And him and he's like in his young 20s. And so he's chatting. He's a big fan of some other people that were on there that have a lot more fans. And one time, one of the young ladies contacted him. He was like, "Oh my God, so and so contacted me." And of course, I don't know who it is because I'm not in that world. But he was so happy about it. Plus he always dressed up in his Sith outfit, and that was his world. Well, there was another guy and a young lady. They were dating. They decided they just wanted to pick with this dude. They just wanted to mess his world up. So she starts messaging him and saying she was underage. And he was like, don't contact me anymore. Yeah, do that. Do that. And he was like, listen, don't contact me anymore. Like you clearly said that you're underage. Please stop contacting. But she kept doing it. And then and she was using like another account to do it. And then she would turn around and say, look at this guy. He's a creep. He's this. And he's talking to an underage, girl and all this other stuff when it was actually you who were doing it. And then he's trying to get you off his ass because he doesn't want nothing to do with you. And he's clearly sending you these messages, but you're not reading that to the people. So what she do? She got enough people to go at this guy, and he's trying to, clear his name, saying, I have no idea what's going on. And you can see his chats. You can like you know, you know how you can go through somebody's chats. You can see he's, leave me alone. I don't want nothing to do with you, blah, blah, blah. And he's in panic crisis mode because all these people are coming after him and ganging up on him and saying that he's a creep. Y'all know how y'all like to do single men. Every single man's a creep. And it's just like, we have no idea what you're talking about. It's just some people who wanted to be trolls. And these two trolled him so bad that he took his own life. That happened during the summer. Yeah, he couldn't take it anymore. As a matter of fact, he took his life on film. Yeah, he was out of here. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. That was his world. Social media was his world, and his reputation was what he lived for. He was single. He regular working dude. Just he lived to come online, play his game, talk to people about Star Wars, and and all this other stuff. He lived in that fantasy, and somebody just from that world just decided to go in and just crashes the whole world. And once he lost his personality and persona in that world, that make believe world where nobody wanted him to be there, well, he had, in his eyes, he had nothing else to live for. There was nothing left to live for, and he took his life in real life on film, on camera. He was like, "I'm out." And then a another young lady who was from that world, who was very popular, she went and did a TikTok about it, and she explained, and she was talking to the goofy people that were attacking him, and she was explaining to them that this guy had nothing to do with anybody underage. And then she showed both accounts, and it was actually this woman who is the same age as he was and has a boyfriend, and those two are the ones who told him to do all of this stuff and blamed him for something that just wasn't true. But like I said, social media will love and hate you in the same breath. So if you're looking for social media to be on your side, be very careful. Some other people who fall for that are the cancer people, the fake ass cancer people. Or the chick who ran away from Germany when she said that her mother was doing all this stuff to her, and then she when she got over here, she got her act together, and all of a sudden she had cancer, but all of a sudden you got a GoFundMe. I got cancer at GoFundMe, and you got all this money coming into you because people feel sorry for you because of what happened in your so-called childhood. Turns out, for one, it wasn't your real name. For two, you never had cancer. And when the mother, found out all this, she was like, "This never happened." Not to mention, you did say the one thing you said correct was you have a sister, but you said your sister passed on, and she was like, her sister's alive and well. Here's her sister right here. This whole thing was a whole lie. And, once again, another dumbass cancer. I hate you, fake cancer people. I hate you. I hate you. I hate you. Because I know personally people who have passed from cancer, and I watch them die. And it is nothing to joke about. I can't stand you, cancer bastards. And I hope, you get sued. I hope to. Oh, I can't stand fake cancer people. They just, they're the worst people. But yeah, so be careful on that social. And social media is getting more and more aggressive. People are actually showing up to your house now. I mean, we know what happened to Pop Smoke. We know what happened to PMB Rock. He got lined up. Pop Smoke was showing off his his delivery, his clothes that he got, and they saw the address. That was it for him. Once they saw that address, they knew who he was. They came and got him. Boom. Be careful, you guys. Be very, 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 very careful. because it can happen to you. And it could be something innocent. You have no idea what in the hell's going on, and then bang, somebody shows up at your front door, and you're like, "Who are you, and why are you here?" Well, the who I am is not important. The why I'm here is important because you did or said something on social media, and you know I'm here to clear the air. Like they'll just show up at your front door, like what? You're like, wait, what? What happened? And that was just a joke. Yeah, well, somebody ain't joking. Somebody's not playing around on social media, and then they're more than happy to bust your whole face. They have no problem coming to see you. So be careful talking to these women on here because some of them is out their damn minds. I'd have met some. I'd have met some out of a Lulu, like, ooh. Some of them chicks from Atlanta, boy, they are different. I gotta admit, though, Atlanta has the most beautiful women in the world collectively. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. I've never seen anything like that in my whole life. It is unbelievable. If you go to Atlanta and you're a single man, you're gonna be in trouble. And I mean, it's every day like that, and it's every age. If you're in your 20s and looking for somebody in your 20s, just be careful. Team up with somebody who knows Atlanta because you'll get swallowed up in some box real quick. Yeah, X. But X got lined up. X got lined up. We know X got lined up. You know how we know it? We know it because Drake said it. He said if he wouldn't have got on that live, he would still been alive. And then X said it before he passed. He said, if I ever, get taken out, he's like Drake did it. And he was like, and he was saying it in other interviews. He was like, Drake has been trying to take me out, and all of that happened because that song, dun, 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 that song, can't keep my get my pants, bum 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 pants. I didn't even know X sang that song until that whole incident, and he was long past. And I was like, I had no idea he sang that song. But X was a different dude. I mean, that dude has some different energy. He was a wild boy too. He was wild. Okay. But yeah, we know he got lined up. We know it. I felt bad for the youngin, but he was making some very very. That's another thing, man. If your kids are making some very very sad music, y'all need to be on your knees praying for that kid because they glorify leaving the planet early. There's nothing beautiful about that. You know what's beautiful? An old couple that died together. It's beautiful. They naturally pass away, you know, like 1 minute after the other, just of old age. That's what they're supposed to do. That's beautiful. Together for 40, 50 years. And then when Mortimer left, so does Maria. And Mortimer, come back. He's out. I know these people. My ex girlfriend, her landlords were like that. And you hardly ever saw them. Old Jewish couple. I think they were Jewish. But he was, they were landlords and they owned that whole little property. And that's what they did, collect the rent and made sure everything was good for years. And one day he just, that was it. he did all he could until he couldn't do anymore. And you know, she was that was it for her too. She was like, I'm pretty much I'm not gonna be here longer, and everybody knew it. And then boom, old girl called me. She was like, yeah, Mrs. Yeah, she went too. I was like, yeah, because they've been together so long. What is she? Why she doesn't have? She doesn't want to be here without him. That's beautiful to me. This sad music, and you know, and X was one of those people. He was singing some. It's just like, dang, brother, like I like your stuff, but I don't like it because it's so sad. Little jam maliciousness. Little jamitude going on. I like it. Yeah, be careful on social media, people. Social media is not your friend. They're not your friend. Everybody wants that social media money. You know how hard it is. I spend copious amounts of time on YouTube. I don't do it for the money. I can tell you right now, I don't do it for the money because YouTube does not pay me. YouTube does not pay your boy anything much. They don't pay me like mm-mm. Refrigerators pay me. That's who pays me. Refrigerators. Yeah, refrigerators pay me. What do you think about the um? Okay, so when you talk about Puff, it's like sections. Are we talking about Puff by himself or Puff with TD Jakes or Puff with the 17-year-old girl on the plane or Puff with Cassie or what do we what allegations are we dealing with? Because Puff's got a lot going on. All of it. And that's like a 10-hour conversation. I'm gonna say this. You guys know I'm almost 60 years old. So that means I was around when rap started. Um, uh, and I've seen, and because I was into hip hop, I was an artist at one time. I was, you know, dancing to it a lot. I followed it. You know what I mean? It was my culture. I followed it. And I can say this: in all of the years that I have known of Puffy, I cannot say that he was ever highly liked. I can always say that his personality has always been smeared from the first time he showed up. From the very first time, he's always been a controversial topic. And when it first started happening is when he was a promoter and he promoted that some show and five or six people died. And they died because he oversold the venue because he wanted the money, and there was a stampede and people got crushed at the door. Now, that was very surreal to me because I used to go to some of these, parties like that, but not, with Puffy there. But, in those days, that's what we did. We went to these parties, and sometimes they would be at skating rinks and there's a lot of people. And one time I was standing outside trying to get in, and I was still, I think, in high school or whatever. And I was trying to get into this party, but we were all standing outside. And when I was in high school, I was pretty much 6 foot. So I could see over the majority of people who were there because we're all teenagers, right? So I'm looking at the door, and I'm looking at them letting people in little by little, and then I'm seeing all these, beautiful black people trying to get in there and have a good time. And then, just, out of nowhere, a skirmish happened at the door because so many people are trying to get in and they're not letting everybody in. And we're like, let's get in so we can jam. And this was at a skating rink in Homewood, Pennsylvania. Um, and when the skirmish happened, immediately people either start fighting or people start what? Moving away. Well, when there's that many people and you start moving, the next person behind you moves, the next person behind you moves, boom, 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 boom. And that's exactly what happened. And then the wave just came. And the young lady in front of me, who I did not know, I just put my arms around her and I pulled her back, and that wave went right past us. And then I let her go, and she said, "Thank you." I said, and that was it for me. I never even went in. So it doesn't take much for a stampede to happen. But he never took responsibility for that. Never. And, after that, once Bad Boy and all that came out, you know, Puffy was, of course, dancing in people's videos. I didn't really care. But what I did notice was his persona, when he was up there tap dancing and whatnot, but when he was talking, it was two different things. It was, you didn't know who Puffy was and what to expect out of him. Like, are you the gangster? Are you the dancing dude from the suburbs? It turned out that he's both. Puffy came from the suburbs. His dad is the one Denzel Washington portrays an American gangster. His dad is that dude. Yeah, that's Puffy's dad. I'm gonna raise you in the damn suburbs, but I'm a whole gangster, like a wild, like he a wild dude, doing life in prison or whatever it was. And even some of his dad's roadies, who are out, and they got on the mic and said it. They were just like, "Puffy, your dad was there too, Puff. Like, we know who your dad was." So, once the whole East and West thing started happening, it was all in the cards. I mean, it was pretty obvious that Puff had something to do what was going on. And when I heard Tupac, uh, uh, when Tupac went in, and did a stint in jail because of that girl who he never had anything to do with, it was actually his homeboys who did that to her, and she was actually with it, but she wanted money, so they lined him up, they lined Puck up. When he went in there and then he came out, he had a whole different persona. His album was laid back and chill. He had glasses on. He was talking about how they did him in jail and what the wild stuff was going on in there because he's a rich dude. And it changed him because them boys still get at you in jail. And it changed Pac. And I was like, okay, maybe Pac could chill and be like a regular, like a good actor. He could have been a great politician, but he owed money. And because the gangsters was all into his money, he had to wear that persona. And then he got to talk and fly. And then, once they went to the Tyson fight, they got in a fight with, he was running with some wild boys, man. And I was like, damn, somebody get Tupac, but he even made that movie Gridlock. I was like, get him before it's all over, because you keep talking that way about, you know, Puffy's crew and, Suge and Puffy going at it. And I was like, somebody's going to die. I even told a dude I knew, I was like, these guys are going to die. It's going to reach a boiling point. And then the way the whole thing was set up, that it wasn't just black people who were in on that. That whole thing was deeper than that. And now we found out that cops were in on it, and you know, uh, music moguls were in on it, and it was there was a lot going on. And but I'm a watcher. I'm not a gangster. I'm not a thug. I'm a watcher. That's what I do. I sit back, watch, and record, and be like, okay, I see what's going on. And then I try to warn other people who are going down that same route. This is what's going to happen to you if you do this. How do I know? Because I've watched people go through the same thing. So cut it out, or you're going to pay the consequences. Now, I'm saying all this to say that Puffy has never been someone that everyone trusted. He never has been. I remember when Black Rob came out with Whoa, and I remember seeing that truck, and then, him dancing on top of the truck and the big bends and all that. And I could only think of, all the other artists who Puffy had. And I was looking at Black Rob like, this video is going to cost you your career. That's all I saw in Whoa. It was a major hit. It still is a hit. There's people been making, hits off of that hit. And all I could see is Black Rob going into debt. And as soon as any artist that signed with Puff went big, and when they went big, it was like then you didn't hear about from them no more. And then the Locks, when they were talking about what had happened to them, it just all made sense. Once the Lock went on Hot 97, the Locks, said it very clearly. They were like, Puffy still has our rights to the songs that we made with him 10 years ago. And he said, all when you see us driving around in Land Rovers and that, they said, because we had to go outside of that and write for people. But he still owns the rights to the Locks. Yeah, what's up? So he said he still owns the rights to the Locks. Like, we can't do anything. And they said it makes us mad enough to kill for. And then Puffy was listening to it and called into Angie Martinez and was like, y'all ain't killing nobody. And they said, we ain't say we was killing anybody. We said it makes us mad enough to kill for because you won't release our rights. And he said, why didn't you just come down here and talk to me? They said, because if we came there, you would have the National Guard waiting for us. But what happened is that is the beginning of what you see now. It's beginning of telling people what Puppy really is like. When you heard the song Paper Gangster, they were talking about Puffy. When you heard of other artists coming out, like yeah, yes, he's very well protected. Yeah, he's very well protected, but nobody is that protected where people are just gonna forget about what you do. Everybody remembers. And listen, there is a boiling point for everything. Everything. There's a boiling point. There is, I've had enough. And you've seen it with politicians who are just greedy and just doing wrong. You've seen it with presidents. who are doing wrong. There is nobody who is above recourse. There is not one soul on the planet who's not going to get theirs. And it, because he's so protected and got away with so much, it just makes his threshold so much higher. But eventually what happens is the people who were protecting you are like, your hand is too hot. And they tell you one thing and another. They tell you, they this is what they do. They tell you, go sit down somewhere, get out of the spotlight, stop, messing with certain people, and we'll still, protect you and clean us up the best way we can. But if you don't listen to us, you're on your own. Now, I don't know. I mean, we know that he's got a lot of Jewish money behind him. That's really what it is. It's the Jewish people, because they control the radio stations. This is why you have ridiculous music that our kids are listening to, like Sexy Red. There's no way that this would have happened in the 90s. But the Jews took over the radio, and they wanted to totally destroy hip hop because hip hop was bringing people together. KRS One and you're headed for self destruction. I mean, when you had groups that were talking about, Bonita Applebum, and then you gotta put me on. And then you got NWA, who were industry plants. They were never gangsters. Never gangsters. They were, listen, the World Star Wrecking Crew was uh, uh, Dr. Dre, um, another dude, and Michelle A. And they were coming out with no more lies, no more lies. Do, 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 do. And they were making songs like that, and it was cool. It was good music. But Dr. Dre had a silk shirt on, looking like a straight, chill dude who gets the women. Then you put a cap on him, put him in all black, and got him talking about, 1 Nick 7 on the undercover. But that ain't you. That ain't you. The only one that was gangster in there was Easy E. And that dude was smart. But they were all women chasers, is what they were. It was all a lie. The Jews set that up. And that's who protects Puffy, the Jews. The Jews are who control the police. The Jews are who control the bank. It's the Jews. And this is why Puffy hasn't done a day in jail, and he won't. But he still ain't going to get away with it. He's just getting by. But nonetheless, like I said, I grew up in hip hop. I watched it all happen. I watched, a lot of famous people, that were around Puff leave the planet. I watched people who I used to, I mean, G Dep, when his hand was hot, when G Dep was hot, take this money, take this money. Ain't no way you can take it. Puffy was right there. He was right in the video. When G Dep came out with Let's Get It, I was looking at G Dep like, damn, you cannot get away from your contract. And this is what Suge Knight was talking about when he was saying, you won't have me dancing in your videos. See, each one of those gangsters had a way of letting you know that you can't get away from us. So Tupac was stuck to Suge Knight because Suge Knight paid for Tupac's bail. So he was like, you owe me, right? But Suge Knight didn't want to be in the limelight. But nonetheless, he was busy flashing, his Bentley, and on the front cover of the Source, he was throwing up Pyru blood signs. And it was like he was letting people know, listen, if you want to come mess around over here, this is what it is. It is gangster territory. And when you hear Corrupting Daz talk about, the life they was living there, and the, watching people get beat down and peed on, and people was getting hard in there, and making people do all kind of It was crazy over there on death row. It was not a good place to be. It was not, and all of those dudes got, you know, the reality hit all of them real quick of what gangster was really like. And we know what happened to Vanilla Ice. I mean, come on. So each one of them had their way of holding you and holding your paper in anything that you did. And if you noticed, there was a pattern with anybody who signed with Puff, they would come out, they would make big hits, and then they would be shelved. This was because they could not financially dig their way out of, out from under Puffy. That's why. That's why they called him a paper gangster. Puffy wasn't going around flexing on people in their face. He just knew the verbiage. And he got that from the Jews. Yeah, he got the language. Have you ever seen the language of a contract? Yeah, Mace, Loon, all of them. If you notice, all of them, the way they all faded out. Shine. I mean, look at what happened to Shine. Shine had to take a 10-year bid for Puff, and it just kept happening, happening, happening. So when I knew Big was gonna die, I knew Big was gonna die. I, I knew Big was gonna die before uh, 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 Tupac got shot going up into the studio. Once he came out of there and he healed, and he was saying that, yo, Big is the one who did it. Big did not have anything to do with it. He had nothing to do with it. But he got shot in New York going to a studio. He got lined, is what happened. Some cats knew he was gonna be there. They waited till he came up the stairs. Boom, they busted out on him. Bam, bam, bam. And they was trying to rob him, and he wasn't going for it. And then what they do, they try to take him out of here. And he's like, I'm gonna blame it on cats in New York. It was just like, wait a minute. Somebody put you onto that. You didn't do that all on your own. You did that because the Jews probably said, hey, go and do this. And it created this whole negative atmosphere. And that's what the Jews wanted. They wanted negative atmosphere in rap because we have our music. That's what we have. That's what we get, that's how we get paid. I mean, you had some of these artists that were doing 20 grand a month and not going on tour. I mean, when Lil Wayne was at his hottest, was just raking in the cash. What they do to him? They went and found out where his tour bus was, and went and then arrested him. And searched his tour bus and just to find anything they could. This is what they do to major hip hop artists, all of them. All of them, not unless you're 50 Cent. Why? Because 50 Cent pays the police. So as far as Puffy is concerned, now this stuff up to date. As far as Cassie is concerned, look, even even a blind man could have told you that Cassie was eventually going to get paid. See, Cassie was playing the long game because there was stuff that was talked about 10 or so years ago when Puffy was messing with Cassidy. He was using her, basically to exploit. And because Puffy was he was doing so much and doing so much exploiting and he couldn't be touched, he was like, nobody can touch me. Take that. And he was poisoning people's drinks. He would go to a party and the women be drinking. He had spiked all their drinks, and now they're loosened up. They're gonna do anything. I mean, he was doing a lot of stuff that like Weinstein or some of them you would think Harvey Weinstein or somebody would do. That's who he got it from. He gets it from these, the Jewish execs because that's how they live. When you hear the story about Holly Berry and how she gets her roles, they were not joking. That's how she was getting them. Mariah Carey, when she was uh, 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 married to Tommy Mottola or engaged to Tommy Mottola, they would walk in the studio and she would be, doing stuff with Tommy Mottola at, when she was like really young. It's like, how long is this going to last? That's how they do. They go and they exploit the hell out of you. Lady Gaga talked about it. She was like, They told me they were going to take all my music from me and do all this other stuff if I didn't sleep with them. So I did what they wanted. That is a very common thread. This is how they get by. It's and now this these sexual allegations with TD Jakes. Listen, these super pastors who take pictures and go to these parties, they they are not the people that you should follow for your walk towards God. They're not, because they have not separated themselves from the world. They are not. I mean, you're on stage dancing with them, TD Jakes. So do we believe that you were doing all of this other stuff? You see, because you haven't separated yourself from them, people are they're easy. It's easy to believe, even if it's not true. The allegation can be there's some cohesiveness to it, simply because of why are you on stage with rappers dancing? You're supposed to be a man of God. God has nothing to do with what these people do. God is not in any other music. He doesn't care about none of these slapping hoes and pimping and drinking lean and all the terrible stuff that they talk about, poisoning the neighborhood, because that's all they talk about. Over sexualizing the women, shooting each other. These guys aren't blessing nobody. They're not telling anyone to be good. And they're going after your children. Your children run around with fake gold in their mouth. Why are you with them? God did not tell you to get on stage with those people. So, do I believe that it happened? I don't really care. But it doesn't really matter if we believe it or not, because what really matters is what the courts believe. The young man who's making these allegations and saying that he was, you know, a youngin that was involved with TD Jakes, he said that there was a so-called payoff, and now he's grown. Now he's like, I want to go after him. I'm waiting to see if that's going to make it to court, because Bishop Eddie Long got caught up into this. Bishop Eddie Long, when the allegations came out, he did the same thing TD Jakes just did. He went before his congregation and he said, I didn't do it. And what happened? The congregation believed him. And they all was, blah, 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 and Jesus and blah, blah, blah. And my God would have never, and he got them all riled up and blah, blah, blah. Turned out it was all true. The four boys that he was messing with all came out, and it was like, it's all true. So it doesn't matter if we believe it or not. What matters is what the courts believe. If there's enough pressure on Jakes, he's going to fold, meaning he's going to pay somebody, because that's what Bishop Eddie Long did. Bishop Eddie Long didn't do a day in jail, but what happened? They had pictures, they had other information to tie him to these allegations, and then they weren't allegations anymore. It was all the truth, and Bishop Eddie Long had to fold. It was like, we know you did this because, the pictures of you being all buff in the mirror, you sent that to one of the boys. We know you did this because these boys were going on trips with you. We know this happened because we talked to their parents. We know you came to the house. We know all this stuff can be proven. And once all of it came to light, he folded. And he had to pay all four of those boys. And then he turned around and told his congregation that they had to pay $1,000 in tithes That's not godlike. That's not what God said the tithes were. God said the tithes were for meat in the storehouse, and it was for the Levitical priest. God didn't say tithes were to cover up your sexual scandals. Also, during that time, Eddie Long anointed himself and had church members carry him on a. This is before that, but this is before the allegations. He came out one day and he was sitting on I guess his throne, and he had these men carry him out like he was some kind of, I don't know what the hell he thought he was. But shortly after that, he got sick and he died. You don't ever anoint yourself above God in God's house. Are you out of your damn mind? I looked at that and I felt sorry for the man. I was like, he's not gonna make it. He is not gonna. It is all gonna fall down, and that's exactly what it did. Now, as far as TD Jakes and I don't listen to him. I never listen to his preaching. Never. Well, let me say this: I've heard some words he said before, and I don't come down on his preaching or nothing. I just watch and see what you do after you get off the pulpit. I'm not innocent, so but I'm not going to follow you if I don't think that you're going to get me to where I need to be in Christ. And I don't think TD Jakes has anything to do with getting you into heaven. There's he's once again, he has not separated himself from worldly people. And if you don't separate yourself from worldly people, you're going to go exactly where they're going. That's it, and that's all. There's no halfway with Christ. You either in or you're out. Tyler Perry giving him $1 million means absolutely nothing to us. Tyler Perry lives in $100 million mansion. And then you got the nerve to hang out with Oprah Winfrey, who is every second getting worse and worse and worse and worse. People were talking about her and Harvey Weinstein, and people where even celebrity females were saying, if Oprah invites you to a Harvey Weinstein party, do not go. Kurt Cobain's wife said that. She was like, don't go. If Oprah invites you to a party, don't go. If Harvey Weinstein is there, do not go. She was saying that Oprah is handing you off to this man who's going to do something to you that you don't want. And we all know what the name of that is. This is what she accused Oprah of on camera. On camera. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. Did you just say what I think you said? She was like, yep, don't go. If she invites you, do not go because it's going to be bad for you. So now you got the whole thing in Hawaii where Oprah looks just straight crazy because your mansion didn't burn down and you're asking us to help pay, or Maui or whatever that is. You want us to donate to Maui after you just took their land and killed a bunch of them. The police stop the people from leaving so they can get burned. You're a part of that. Women, men, children strewn about in cars that are blackened, trying to get out, and the police was like, no, you can't get out. And the military too was stopping people. And the mayor was questioned, why didn't you ring the alarm? And his reason was so bogus. He was, no, if I would have rang the alarm, there would have been a panic and blah, blah, blah. When you start reading the fine print, when it says to ring the alarm, that was the very reason to ring the alarm, which means you're in on blood is on your hands. You're guilty of killing your own people. You filthy rat. You're guilty. Don't. So, yeah, it, these people are evil. There's no way that I can sit there and watch people burn up. There's no I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Listen, I was in the military before and I disobeyed orders. I disobeyed orders. You know, somebody outranked me and said something crazy to me. I said something back. I said something to a lieutenant colonel. He said something to me I didn't like. I walked out of his office and left his door open. He was like, "Get back in here." I'm like, "You ain't just gonna talk to me crazy, you know?" I was like, bro, no, we not doing that." My sergeant said something to me crazy. I was like, "All right, we'll do it then. Let's go." I ain't play with none. My drill sergeant said something to me crazy. I try to run him over. I'll be damned if I'm gonna watch people die. I'm not doing it. I wouldn't have never held. I'd have been like, I'm done. I would have never stood in front of that barricade and stopped all those cars from getting out of Maui. And that's exactly what they did. They knew the fires were coming because they set the fires. None of the mansions burned. I'm just saying these people are very, very evil. And any preacher who has anything to do with any of them, you are just as evil. Creflo Dollar just came out and said that all the time that he was talking about tithes, he was wrong. What? Creflo Dollar, you were hiding your taxes. You made $28 million in 1 year, and you were hiding your taxes. You better not ever say that to another soul. I'm telling you, people who follow them, you guys are following the wrong people. You guys are following the wrong people, but that's your choice. But these people have nothing to do with God. There's not one iota of godly leadership in any of these people. Joyce Myers, none of them. They are all fakes. Every single one of them. Benny Hinn, he's a fake. Paula, she's a fake. Them two shouldn't have even been holding hands. Where'd that happen? What's going on here? What are you two doing? These are some fake people, like Jim and Tammy Baker. Yeah, I'm that old. Jim and Tammy Baker, I knew they were fakes when I looked at them. TNN or whatever the hell that is. You got to have a discerning spirit, and that's one thing I got, man. And I thank God for it. So, listen, Puffy has put out some good music, but these people are not real. I used to listen to Biggie's music. I listened to it all the time, and then I had to stop because it was talking about stuff that I just don't do. But that was one of the reasons why I was listening to it because I'm from the hood, but I ain't no hood dude. I ain't never sold nothing illegal. I'm just not that guy. And anybody who knows me from the hood knows I don't do any of that. I don't. I'm on the other side of that. I don't do any of that. I mean, one time I was with my brother and my uncle, and we walked in, to a bar. We was talking to a bunch of hood cats, and they, found out that, oh, you got a driver's license. He was like, "Yo, check this out, man. You could live right here, and drive for me, and blah blah blah." And my brother and my uncle went up to him and said, "Hey, man, don't get him into that. Like that's a college dude. He ain't got nothing to do with that." And I just let them handle it. And I just stood back and watched them because they were correct. I'm not that guy. I'm not gonna flip nothing for you. I don't want nothing to do with it. It's not gonna happen. Kenneth Copeland, that dude is a. What do I think about? Think of common as in common sense. Yeah, Jimmy Swaggart. Listen, Jimmy Swaggart had it all when it came to when it came to the gospel. Jimmy Swaggart was anointed. He was an anointed man. Yeah, Common Sense, the rapper, Common Sense. But Jimmy Swaggart was an anointed man, and Jimmy knew he was anointed. He had it, and he had a grip on people because he was serious, and he spoke with power. You know what I mean? And he read out of the Bible, and he preached like he was almost a hellfire preacher. He wasn't. Who's that hellfire preacher? Uh, damn, I could see him, the chubby dude with the glasses. I forgot his name. But Jimmy Swaggart was that he boom. Yes. That's what John. You're good. You're good. John Hagee. John Hagee was probably still is, a hellfire preacher. And there's a difference because a hellfire preacher is usually Pentecostal. Usually. Those are hellfire preachers because they believe in hell because Jesus talked more about hell than he talked about heaven. He said what was in hell, and it's not a place you want to go. And he said what hell was built for. But you will go there if you keep messing around. All right. So, yeah, you're going to go, but it wasn't built for you. But don't go. But uh, John Hagee, I really like John Hagee because he would grab the pulpit and he would make listen, there is a place that is constantly expanding because people keep going there. You don't want to mess around with this place. And Uh, I liked him more than the majority of them. But I was listening to Charles Stanley. I was listening to Chuck Swindoll. I was listening to I was listening to there was some more out there. I was listening to those guys plus the local preacher. I was really listening to him because he would make a lot of sense. And it was a Holy Ghost filled church. But Jimmy Swagger was interesting to me because when he fell because he looked at a woman and lusted in her. And the thing about it is he had that woman in his hotel. So just like a lot of, people, TD Jakes, there are allegations, and then the preacher will try to step out in front of the allegations until the allegations have manifested so much that you can't deny it. They'll try to come out, no, I didn't do this, blah blah blah, and then boom, you really did do this. Jim and Tammy Faye Baker, you guys were really crooked. You were really crooked, but Jim goes to jail, but she doesn't. I'd have thrown her in jail too. But they were crooked, you know what I'm saying? And they try to come out in front of their allegations. And what happened? They're crooked as a question mark. Crooked. You're going to jail, crooked. You rip people off, crooked. You had almost $1 billion, bro. You would built a whole theme park. You're so crooked. I mean, these guys were crooked, but people still sent the money. Jim, I don't know if Jim is out now, but I bet he could probably still get on TV and convince people that he is a man of God 100%. Now, when Jimmy Swaggart fell, I remember watching him. And I felt bad for Jimmy Swaggart because I was like, wait a minute. We are not all perfect and we all love a pair of tits. Let's cut the BS. This is a 40-something-year-old man, and he looked at a young lady and he was like, hot damn. You can't tell me one man who's straight man didn't look at Holly Berry and think that, I mean, even Holly Berry today is hot stuff. I mean, come on. Listen, beauty is beauty. The angels came out of heaven for that beauty. We are no match when it comes to angels who are already in heaven. We're no match for them. They know what it's like to live in heaven, and then they saw that women were beautiful. I felt bad for Timmy. I was like, yeah, you shouldn't have been in there with that chick, but you're fooling yourself if you think that he's not going to look at some 21-year-old fresh out of UCLA. Come on. See, this is a thing about being a preacher. When you're a preacher, you're a man of God, and you reach a certain status, guess who's coming for you? The women. And they will literally fight over you because they want to be first lady. They want to be first lady. Even if it's a small congregation, they want the honor of being first lady. And they will fight for that honor. Anytime you shine in anything, some woman's going to come out of nowhere. And it's here we go. Because that's how we're made. That's how we mate. I ain't saying Jimmy was right. I'm saying it almost looked natural to me. I was like, wait a minute. What's he supposed to do? This is a very, very powerful man. What are women attracted to? Powerful men. Women are attracted to powerful men. And they're like, oh, he lusted in her because he said he lusted in her. Yeah, I was like, you lusted in her? Or was this hypergamy? I just had questions about that whole situation. But what happened? People started leaving him. And I just felt bad about that. And I'm thinking, what if Jimmy was polygamous? So every man of God only had one wife? We know that's not true. How do we know it? Because it's in the Bible. Now that it says, let the deacon have one wife. But we know David had 8 wives and plenty other concubines. And it said that he was a man of God's own heart. We know that Sarah, told her husband to sleep with Hagar in order for them to have a kid. Sleep with the help, with the maid. She's young, she's beautiful, she can have a child. I can't. I'm of age. Go sleep with her. I mean, am I wrong? I used to watch Jimmy a lot. Was part of the online ministry a few years ago. Okay, you were in. What's up with you, champ? You were in. So you were in the mix with me. You were in the mix right with me. You know what I'm saying? But I watched a lot of that. And I watched people go down one by one. I watched people who faked the anointing. I watched people who had the anointing and abused it. And usually it's money and women that come in between the man of God. And once they get knocked down, they can't get back up to where they used to be because of this image. It's like I don't want that image. I like looking at women. I do. I've always been that way. I've always been that way. I've always thought women were just beautiful to look at. I got a problem. I've always liked looking at beautiful women, and they've always liked being looked at. It is what it is. Women love attention. They can't get enough of it. Look at me, look at me, look at me constantly. Look at me, look what I'm doing. Look at me, I'm sitting on the couch in my onesie. Look, everybody, look. That's what women do constantly. Look, I'm putting on shoes. Look, I'm brushing my teeth. Look, I'm doing my hair. Follow me while I get dressed. No, I'm not going to follow. I don't care. Look at me fake lift weights. That's what women do. That's how they're made. You got a nice butt, so let's make sure we get the butt crack of your shorts eating your ass or your ass eating your shorts. Let's get that whole because this is what men would get out of here. Slap that camera out and get out the gym. I had one girl recently walk into the gym with body paint on. And one guy looked at her and he says, you need to leave. She's like, why? He said, because you have on body paint. She's like, but I'm covered. He's like, nah, that's body paint. And the one guy was like, do you work here? He was like, I'm going to go and report it. You need to leave. See, he's upset because this is a good looking woman who came in to mess with the men. And then this doofus she was with is filming the whole thing. No, get the hell out of the gym. We don't care. We came here to get a good workout because we want to be healthy. We didn't come here so we can look at you and then you can call us creeps. I'm sick of that BS. I'm sick of that. Women are the ones who's the creeps. You're the creeps. We're not the creeps. We're supposed to look at beauty. That's how we're made. I don't know. Look, man, in the 80s, you want to talk about some naturally beautiful women? You ain't. I don't know what y'all getting today, but they don't look nothing like. Yeah, fake lifting weights. These women y'all got now, they are nothing compared to when I was in the game. Nothing. You don't know if that's her hair. You have no idea if that's her hair. Most of the women I dated had natural hair. Even some of them tried to wear wigs or they tried to put stuff in their hair fell out. You know what? They ended up with locks. Just hair, just beautiful, just gorgeous. I love that natural hair with that nice sundress down below the knee about mid calf with the just beautiful. What y'all got today is a bunch of robots. That's what y'all women look like today. Who don't do nothing. They can't cook a ham sandwich. All they can do is go in there and show off their ass. It's like, good luck trying to marry her. Good luck trying to marry that right there, because you're done. She ain't gonna do nothing worth anything. She is gonna be a complete waste of space. She's gonna cost you more money. She's gonna cost you an extreme amount of money. Matter of fact, you're gonna have gray hair before you're 30. Leave that woman alone. She's gonna be worrisome. She's gonna screw your friends. She's gonna screw your dad. She's gonna screw your brother, and then she's gonna blame it all on you. Well, you were working 12-hour shifts. I was home alone, and nobody was here to talk to me, so I screwed the dog too. It's your fault, and you're gonna have me and Fluffy's baby. You're like, get out of my house before something happens to you. And then all the women on social media are like, that he's just, why won't he take care of you and the dog baby? He's just wrong. He ain't a man. That's not a real man. A real man would take care of you and the dog baby. So this is how ridiculous it is. A real man would take care of you and another man's child. So what? Is it? Y'all high as hell. Y'all smoking some serious weed. Get out. Get out of my house and take your social media with you. Get out. Get the hell out. You, your kid, your mama, get out. Get out of my house. You piece of trash. Give it to him. Right, you and the dog baby. Why don't you and the dog baby go find a fire hydrant to live on or under or whatever. Why won't he take care of you and the dog baby? Like, excuse you? I mean, they're so ridiculous now. I saw one clip where the woman, she was living with the dude. And she living with the dude. And she had there's another dude living there, a young man, about, I don't know, 14 or so. He's living there. She says, this is my brother. So for years, this guy is believing that she's taking care of her little brother. Turns out that was her son. He was like, why didn't you just tell me that this was your son? Who told you? Blah, 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 blah. Why did blah, 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 blah. Everybody's gone. All right, I'm out. Peace.